Guys, good night, good night, good night, good night, good night, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. All depends on what part of the world you're in today. So, people, so tonight I actually want to touch on the whole subject about Joseph, Joseph Saloni's son, Joseph. And the reason why I want to talk about it tonight is because I hear Lorraine was talking about it on her program tonight, and I listened to a little bit of what was going on. And when it was first brought to my attention, somebody actually was telling me about it and saying, hey, they didn't think it was right that Miss D was kind of talking about the whole Joseph thing and saying that he need to go find a job and this and that whatever, and so I decided to go look at the video for myself. Again, I like to look at stuff for myself before I actually come out and say anything if I choose to. So yes, I went and I took a look at it and I heard what she was saying and this and that whatever, and I was like, okay. The only part that I kind of had an issue with is the fact that, when she was talking about Joseph, and in my mind, I was like, but Joseph was on your program, and at that particular time, you didn't stress that he needs to go find a job or whatever. Instead, you came out and you asked some money and assistance for them in whatever, which is what you do. You do charity work, so I guess you focus more on the charity part than actually thinking about the fact that maybe he needs to go to school and learn a trade or something like that so he could help himself. So but everything else that she was saying in the video, as far as kids need to grow up and help their parents and help take care of their parents and pay more attention to their parents and stuff like that, I absolutely agreed with that. I mean, even though it's not mandatory, or it's they have to do it, but when raising our children, and sometimes we spend so much time and working so hard, to raise our children a certain way. Children, in a way, is like our investment. And we would hope that we're making a big enough and a good enough investment that, yeah, when we do get to a certain age and can no longer help ourselves, we would hope that the kids will be there for us and help us when we get older. Do they have to? No. But that is what we are investing. That is what we're hoping for. All right, so I don't see anything wrong with her saying that they need to help take care of their parents. Now, in listening to Lorraine's show tonight now, and I hear her and Michelle kind of had a little debate a little bit about the whole Joseph thing, and it's one thing that I can say that I agree a lot with what Michelle was saying, as far as regardless of who or what made Joseph who the way he is today, where he doesn't want to work. He appears to be very lazy. He has a child now, so he is a father. Therefore, if you're an adult enough to know how to have a relationship and even to make a baby, you would think your adulthood would also kick in to know that you also need to go get a job to provide for your family now. And Joseph don't appear to be doing that. He appeared to be still just relying on his mom coming out to beg every day to help feed the family and help take care of the baby and buy Pampers and all of that. It seems as if he depends on her to come out and just beg, 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 or for people just to donate money to Joseph so he could, he still appears to be in that same mindset, which Michelle is trying to say, hey, that is wrong. He's grown now. He needs to go get a job, and then Lorraine had a little issue with that. She kind of breaking it down to say, hey, when a person is used to getting things freely most all of their lives, it kind of hard for them to now, even as a grown person, to have that drive to go out there and do anything, because they're so used to just getting things. So therefore, they're still in the mindset of, I'm used to getting things, so therefore I don't need to work. I just know I'm going to get it. So therefore I don't need to do anything. And in a way is like there, Lorraine was kind of saying, maybe it's Donna's fault why Joseph think the way he does. And the only thing that I could say to that, in all honesty, and to now that I'm looking at it both sides, I'm looking at it on Michelle's side, and I'm also looking at it in Lorraine's side. And the only thing that I could honestly say and put my opinion in that is, there's no way that, I feel that Donna should be blamed for how Joseph is today. Yes, it may be a thing where at the time, and what I will give Donna the wrong for, if any wrong should be given in this at all. The only thing that I could say is, okay, in the beginning of the program, when she first met that family, Joseph was young. I think he was 17. I think he was like 17 years old at the time when they first came on the program. And at the time, instead of just, like she said, collect money, and just give money for food and clothes and shelter and build a house. And, while in the process of doing all of that, being that he was 17 years old and was in school at the time, was to more focus a lot of the money in investing in his education more than anything else. Because once he's able to get that education, you put that money behind him to help push him and pay for all his CSC and whatever classes he needs to take, and then he wanted to be a doctor. And I the only thing that I would say, not say per se wrong, but should have done differently, is the fact that instead of focusing, so yes, put a roof over their head, but it didn't have to be such a lavish home that took millions of dollars. It could have been like a regular little simple home, just have a roof over their head, little kitchen, whatever, just something simple. And the majority of that money invested into this young man, who already Donna was praising to say he's so smart, he's so intelligent. If you see that in him, then that is what you should have used a lot of the majority of the money and invested in his education and help him with his dream to become a doctor. Because it will boil down to, give a man a fish, he eats a day, but you teach him how to fish, he could eat for a lifetime. It's the same thing with education. It's like if you had put a lot of that money into his education and push him towards becoming what he wanted to be, which would have been a doctor, eventually he would have become a doctor, and therefore by him becoming a doctor, he could now afford to buy his own house. He could now afford to buy his mama mansion. He can now afford to give her more the finer things of life and give himself the finer things of life. So therefore, they would have still achieved a beautiful home and a whole lot more by just taking the bulk of that money and invest it in this young man that you ran into, that you saw potential in, that you said was so smart and so intelligent, and literally you was gonna take him under your wings and guide him as a mother, being the fact that his mom was sick and not able to do those things for him. Somewhere along the line, that didn't happen. They got a house, they got some food, and pretty much they were off the program, and everybody already know what happens to Saloni and Joseph and that whole shebang. After that, everything seemed to have gone down the drain. Now, it's one thing that I can say is, Donna met him when he was 17 years old. It says to grow up a child the way he should go, so when you grow up or becomes a man or a woman, he will not depart from it. At 17 years old, Joseph was already grown up. So whatever and however he was at the time when she met him, she couldn't turn the clock back on that. The only thing she could do, like I said, is to take that money and push him further, put the fire under his tail to make sure that he achieve, you know, going to school and getting that education and becoming who he wanted to become. Just keep that fire burning underneath him and don't stop until he gets it, until he reached there. That's the only thing Donna really could have done. But as far as anything else, as far as his, the way he's probably lazy now, his mentality, the way he thinks, the way he behaves, the way his, all of that was already grown and built in him by his mother and his surrounding. So there's nothing much she could do when it comes to that part of it. Because he was 17 when she met him. He was already grown. All right. So there's really no blame game either way. It's just that now that he is, done fell off the radar and he's no longer the star child of the program and he's no longer getting the positive and love and attention that he used to get from her or from even the plankers or even from the public, it kind of put a damper on the whole situation, and it almost make it as if the donors' money and all the effort and time and love that they poured upon this family, it just seemed as if it just went down the drain. And Donna coming out and talk about it and talk about him and saying that, he need to go get a job. And, it sounds as if you're coming across at him in a negative way. And I don't think that should have been the right thing to do. I think something like that, you need to call him up personally if you need to. Have him come over by your house and, as an adult to a child, or if you want to say a mother figure to a son that you once loved dearly, I would have took him privately in my home and just have that hard talk conversation with him. I would have definitely say, Joseph, I need to speak to you. I need to speak to you. I need to have a conversation with you. And when he come over, you have that mother figure and son hard talk. That's what should have happened. Because bringing it publicly to your audience, to your donors, the same donors that sent so much of their hard-earned money and sacrificed so much into this family because you had loved them. Joseph had good potential. They fell in love with Joseph. They fell in love with Saloni. Their heart went out for them, and they poured a lot of money into this family to help them. And to see that all of that appears to have gone down the drain, and then you come out and then you put the, what you want to call it, it's like you put the nail to finish bury the coffin by bringing it out and talk about his situation and the way he is, and him not working, and you need to find something and do, and all of that just put a nail on it to solidify how the donors already feeling as if all their money went down the drain. That did not need to be publicly done. It could have done privately between you and Joseph. Because you're not going to make it any better for him by doing that. You're only going to get the plankers and other people and viewers to more dislike him, more slander him, more call him lazy, more call him that, he need to get up and go walk. You need to, you're just going to cause more bashing for him. And what's the good outcome for that? What outcome would you expect from people coming out to bash him even worse? Even if he did want to get up and go get a job, don't you think that maybe his image is destroyed in a way? That maybe when he go out there, people is like, look at him, that boy that went upon Auntie Donna show with him ungrateful self and him ungrateful, and they may scorn him, they may mock him, they may make a mockery of him. He may go to apply for a job and maybe the people at the job and the workplace them bias. Oh, don't hire him, that boy that went upon Auntie Donna show. Him and him at workless and him and him at the man grateful. Don't hire him, not hire him. You understand me? It could cause a negative ripple upon his life. And we just gotta just draw for that love. Draw for that love that you once had for them. I understand that Saloni definitely disappointed you. She hurt you. I understand that. But Saloni already lived her life. But Joseph is still young. He's still growing. He's still learning. He's still... So don't hold it against him. If there's a way that you can help him, then help him. And it doesn't have to be public help. You don't have to publicize anything you do for these people. And I understand you said, oh, transparency. But I honestly, in the beginning, thought that the transparency was for your charity program. When you officially had your charity program going on, I thought the transparency was for that, was for the donors that's giving their money. It was for, people that was donating to your program and they wanted to see you issue out the money. So I understand all of that part when you say transparency with that. But you're no longer officially doing charity work. So for you to keep grabbing your camera for every Jesus Christ thing that happened and calling it transparency, that's the reason why I have to wonder, is it for transparency at this point or is it just for content at this point? Let's be real. Let's be honest. Let's call a spade a spade. Let's say what it really is. Is it really for transparency, or to cover your back, or to make sure no one don't say I did something or say something that I didn't say or do? Donna, they're going to say it anyways. Whether you have the camera showing everything that you do, or whether you don't have the camera showing what you're going to do, they're going to say it anyway. If people don't like you, they're going to say it anyway. And if people like you, regardless of what, they're still going to like you anyway. So it really does not make a difference. You keep on saying, even now that there's no charity going on, to say I have my camera because it's for transparency. No, not everything needs to be on camera at this point. No, I absolutely disagree with that. Because at this point, like I said, it only leaves me to think and believe that it's no longer about transparency for you anymore. It's more for content. Which nothing is wrong with that, but be honest with it. Be honest. I'm a blogger now. I'm gonna use opportunities and things, and I'm gonna use it for content, but I'm gonna use it in a truthful way. I'm not going to create it. I'm not going to make up the story. I'm not going to fabricate anything. No, I'm going to use what I see out there in real life, in public, and I'm going to use that. And I'm going to make a content, yes, by coming out and talk about it. That's my content. I see people talking about, oh, you don't have no content. Oh, you and your non-content YouTube page. Oh, a full thing. This is my content. This is the way I do. This is what considered my content. When I see real life stuff, real life story, real life things, real life people, and I want to blog about them, I want to do a review, I want to give a constructive criticism, whatever, that is considered my content. So what I'm saying is nothing wrong if you're using it for content, but be honest about it. say, hey guys, this is a great opportunity to make a great show. So therefore, excuse me, let me go get my camera, or I'm going to have my camera today. So if anybody don't want to be on my camera, I'm asking y'all to leave now, because this is, be honest about it. Don't say it's to protect yourself, and don't say it because you want transparency, because that's not what it's about right now, in my opinion. But anyway, forget about all that. Let's get back to Joseph. So no, I don't blame you for how Joseph has become, because like I said, you met him when he was 17 years old. So he was already raised by his surrounding and his sick mom. But yes, I can say what you should have done differently. It was to invest most of the money in pushing his education and pushing his dream of becoming a doctor. And in that way, he could really help his family in the long run and really be able to help his mother in the long run. That's what should have happened, and it wasn't happened. And no, I don't agree with you coming out and say anything about Joseph in a negative way, and if it's not positive, don't say anything negative, because he already have a negative stigma that's already on him from what happened throughout when he was on your program. And if you want him to be able to have some self-esteem and really pick himself up and really, get on his grind, get on his groove, really go out there and make something of himself, then talking negative about him, especially with you, I tell you already about the fact that because you have a large platform and a lot of people believe in everything that you say, and a lot of people gravitate towards what you say, you have to be careful. So by you using your platform and mention anything more negative about Joseph, is just going to make it that much worse for him. So if you don't have something good to say about him, I would prefer, or we all would prefer, you not say anything at all. And if you're not going to bring him in and have a hard talk with him and a heart to heart and let him know, hey, he need to get himself together. If you need some help and assistance, I will do that for you, but this is what I need you to do. If you're not going to do that, then just don't say anything at all. And that's all I have to say on that subject. So with that, that is my opinion. That's a constructive criticism towards Miss D. Anyone else want to take it any which way you want, you're more than welcome to do so. But that's all I have to say on this subject. So you guys have a wonderful day, night, evening, afternoon, any part of the world you're in today. And Queen Bee is out. Don't forget, subscribe. And if you want to unsubscribe, you could do that too. You're not going to be missed. All right. Bye.